This is Ready, Set, Reiki, a podcast about Reiki and all energy work, from the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all lineages, all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination. And on this Ready, Set, Reiki journey, I refer to myself as a guide rather than host, as I too am traveling, learning, and supporting others on this Reiki journey as well. And with that said, I am your guide, Tracy Seawright, and this is Ready, Set, Reiki. Hello, Reiki family. Reiki blessings to you, one and all. Another adventure we're going on today. But before we begin, I have to tell you about a special place on Facebook. Now, here it is, the Reiki Business Collective. Here we're sharing, supporting, and serving. Well, Christian Stone does an amazing and wonderful job supporting and encouraging one and all. Here is connecting with your Reiki business community. Now, it costs $0 to come on to this group here, wherever you are on your journey. Now, maybe you're not even thinking about business. Don't let that business word fool you. Wherever you are in your Reiki journey, come join, be a part of the community. You will not be sorry. Well, back to our journey. So I'd like to bring on a wonderful and amazing person here. It is Andrea Okiowa. And she is a Calgary-based wellness facilitator, meditation teacher, Reiki master, photographer with nearly 2 decades of experience in emergency communication with local police services. Now, during her years working with emergency services, she supported people through highly stressful, often life-changing situations. Now, this experience gave her a very deep understanding of how stress and trauma affects the nervous system, and ultimately led her to explore practices that helped calm her nervous system and restore calm and balance. Now, today, she brings together her background in crisis support with meditation, Reiki, and trauma-informed wellness practices to help others reconnect with a sense of peace and grounding. She facilitates grounded meditation sessions, mindful creativity workshops, and wellness experiences designed to help calm busy minds and support emotional well-being. Now, she also integrates her Reiki practice into her photography, using calming energy techniques to help animals feel safe and relax during a session. Now, this approach not only helps domestic animals settle during a photo shoot, but also allows her to photography or photo wildlife in a way that feels respectful and non-threatening. So let's give a warm Ready, Set, Reiki welcome. Hello, hello.
Hi there. How are you?
Welcome to Ready, Set, Reiki.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this.
Wonderful. Now, I told our listeners just a little bit about you, but I know there's so much more. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I was born and raised in Calgary here in Canada. Been fortunate to have been able to travel extensively in my life, lots of different places. But I have lived one other place as well, and that's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I know we have a little bit there in common.
We actually do. We actually do. So where in Pittsburgh?
Just outside. It was on the north end where I was living at the time. Oh gosh, Oakmont?
Oakmont.
No, yes, Oakmont, I think. I can't remember. This is 30 years ago now. So I'm testing my memory here. But yeah, I lived there for 6 months with one of my sisters. She had a youngster, and she wanted some assistance with the little one, and so I went down. But speaking of siblings, I'm the youngest of 5 girls. And I have nieces and a nephew and 2 fur babies. I have a cat and a dog.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we're here for the reason of Reiki, energy work. So tell us about Reiki. When did Reiki come into your life? Did you find Reiki or did it find you?
Oh, good question. So it actually found me twice. So the first time this was back in about 2005. And I was about 5, 6 years into my career as an emergency communications officer. And I was struggling a little bit. And one of my sisters saw that. And she said, I think it might be a good idea for you to go and see a friend of mine. And she said, go and check her out. So I found her, and she said, do you know what Reiki is? Nope. Not a clue. So I said, you know what? I'm here. I trust you. You know, my sister would not send me somewhere wrong. So I got on her table and had an incredible experience. It was very eye-opening. And part of it, though, was that I felt a little bit weird because I just opened up and cried and cried. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is weird. This is really strange. What's happening to me? And she assured me that it was normal and I just had things to release. So as much as I was really interested in that and curious about it and fascinated by it, I didn't go back. So fast forward now to 2019, where I ended up having to leave my career due to occupational PTSD. And I was sitting on the computer one day, just scrolling through Facebook, and up pops this ad for Mount Royal University, one of our local universities here, Reiki training. And it was right in my face. And it was like, hi, come on, I invite you. So I did. I started my training in 2019. And you know, I don't think I'll ever look back. It's been amazing. It's been quite a journey.
Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, working in the field that you are working in, I mean, hats off to you. Thank you for all of that you've done. You know, it's really a stressful, profession.
It is. It absolutely is. And this ended up being a huge part of my own healing journey.
Beautiful. So what surprised you about Reiki?
Well, I think that it's far more common now than I knew before I was trained. I think you don't necessarily look for things when you don't know about them, but at the same time, after I was trained, it was everywhere. Everywhere. I had people popping up going, oh yeah, I'm a Reiki master. Oh yeah, I'm a Reiki master. I've trained in. And so I thought, okay, this is fascinating. This is so cool. Yeah. So they're either trained in it, interested in it, or they are just kind of curious, but shyly curious
Yeah.
about it, you know? So yeah, I thought that's a huge surprise about it.
Right. When I began my journey, I had one good friend that she was a bit, really into this. And she said, give it a try. And I Googled and I found a teacher and I didn't know anybody. And then as soon as you get trained, it's like, oh yeah, I do that. And like, wow, like it was some kind of secret
Exactly.
club. Then they admit that they're doing
Exactly. Yeah.
goodness. So standing where you are today, looking back, what are some misconceptions that you hear about Reiki?
Excellent question. There's a lot of people out there that I think believe that it is really connected to religion. And the people that don't think it's connected to religion think it's some kind of cult. I've had that as well. And I've had people say, you must be a devil worshiper. And it's like, nope, promise. I'm Christian. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah. I grew up in a very Bible-based home. My mother, Word of God. And when I started doing yoga, it was like, absolutely not. You're going to go to hell. When I was playing the sound bowls, she called them the demon bowls. It was like absolutely horrific. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's a big one for sure. Mm-hmm.
So working in emergency communication with a local police, you've seen a few things. You've probably seen people at their worst through their struggles. But what has been one of the biggest challenges or struggles you have faced in your own healing journey?
Time. Time has been a really interesting struggle. Because I think there are certain expectations on people. When you break your leg, say, it's kind of clear, you've got a break, we cast you, we might do surgery on you, we get you into physiotherapy, do a little bit of massage therapy, and you'll be walking again in 6 weeks. PTSD is not like that.
Right.
So it's time is a very important struggle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's so interesting because you can pity someone, when you see them with the outside wounds, but they're not realizing the internal. When I do sound bowls, being a trauma-informed teacher is important. I live in an area where there's a lot of service, right? A lot of military veterans, police officer, border patrol here.
Right.
You never know. And you have to be conscious and aware that a particular sound could trigger something.
Absolutely.
Overwhelm them. And you don't want them to be there and just struggling and having just to push through it when it's supposed to be the stress reducing modality.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that you can't really see, but you need to be conscientious and aware. And I always tell them, if you feel it coming on, and, I'll hold space for you. Just put your finger up and, I'll shift it. You don't have to be there and struggle. Yeah.
That's a beautiful way of doing it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So when it is time for you to get an energetic tune-up, what are some qualities that you look for in a Reiki practitioner?
Oh, gosh. Well, I think that unfortunately, like in a lot of modalities, there are people that are in it for, I'm going to say it, the wrong reasons, not just because I disagree with how, people are, but, if you're just in it for money, or if you're just in it for, I don't know, the money thing is a big thing for me. People need to be invested in others, and so that is very important to me, that they're invested in the client. Somebody who listens, somebody who understands about confidentiality. That's such a big thing. And non-judgment.
Right.
So
right.
those are important to me.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm the Reiki police. It's a struggle. It's a struggle because you see things and then you'll have some people say, well, you need to work on yourself and question why that bothers you. And it's not about me. I just don't want people to feel they get ripped off. Because
yes, of course.
they're paying for these trainings, they're paying for this service, and there needs to be a standard, like a waiver, right?
Yes.
You have the waiver signed, right? Have transparency. I've seen where someone will start promoting that they're a practitioner or a master before they even finish their training, or I see that they're taking other materials from another practitioner and using it as their own. And it just blows my mind sometimes. So I don't really look at it like, oh, it's about me and ego, but it's like, I just feel bad for people who are entrusting this particular person with their time, their money, their energy, and that person's not being authentic. Right. I think it's just the ethics of it that kind of bothers me.
Yes.
And just saying, well, I'm promoting this, but I'm really not a part of that. It's like, oh my goodness. But now that we have such a variety of trainings out here and accessibility of things online, there's a lot of people that go on demand because they're like, this is great. I can be a Reiki practitioner for $9.99 and I'm up and I'm running, right? And so there's a lot of controversy out there where you have individuals saying it has to be in person instead of online. And, I'm for, if you have a live teacher, like how we are communicating right now, great. But if it's an online on-demand thing, that's a great resource after you connected with a physical person that you can connect with. Yeah.
We are on the same page. Absolutely.
But it
Yeah.
just seems that how it's kind of shifted and changed. And then you have in the community where people are judging, right? And but the whole thing is love and service. This is what we're here for, right?
Yes.
Whether you're doing angelic Reiki, whether you're doing Celtic Reiki, Rainbow Reiki, we're all here for love and service.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
So, what advice would you give someone who is just entering spiritual work?
Oh my gosh. Take your time. Read a lot. But you also have to remember at the same time, when you're reading other people's, manuals or books, a lot of that is other people's opinions. And
Mm.
so I think you really have to take that into account. Um, just like a lot of other things. Find peer related or peer reviewed studies, find gray literature, find a teacher that you mesh with. I think that's going to make it a lot easier, a lot smoother to be able to have that relationship with your teacher and to be able to continue your relationship with your teacher. And this is a big one is keep a journal through training.
Yeah.
See if you can find somewhere to volunteer your time as providing Reiki services. I mean, some places won't take you, that, as far as I know, until you're a Reiki master. But get there and use that time and use your abilities, use this skill. Know that it's okay for people to doubt the work.
Mhm.
Not everybody has to believe in it. And just because you're getting into Reiki also doesn't mean you have to work with clients.
Mm.
No, there's no expectations in Reiki. You can go into it and you can just have it there for self-care.
Right. Absolutely. Right.
Mhm.
My friend that got me into this, we went to, and I went to introduce her to somebody, and she goes, "Well, I do Reiki, but not how Tracy does it. I just only do it on myself." And I turned to her and I says, "But what you do matters. What
Yes.
matters. If you don't have to teach, you don't have to have clients. You just getting up and giving Reiki to a tree, right? Or to yourself, so that you're not getting upset around your coworkers or snapping at somebody that cuts you off in traffic. That's important as well." And I like how you said about the different manuals. When I studied Uzui Rahiho, we had to create our own manual. So we would take our teacher's information and then create our own. And
Wow.
then, by the time I went on to other different systems, I was realizing, oh, some of this is inaccurate. And
Mhm.
I remember seeing a post on Facebook about someone who said, "This is my master teacher's timeline." And on the timeline, we know when Uzui Sensei was born, we know when he died. And the timeline put him as 5 years old, connecting with the energy. And I said, "Hey, you might want to check that." And he was absolutely not. My sensei is absolutely correct. So you have so many hours of the training. Many of them, the average is like 8 hours, right?
Yes.
A
Yeah.
1 day training. You can only fit so much in there. And if you have questions, do the research. You have Justin B. Stein out there who's trying to put the pieces together of things that Madame Takata once said that people just thought as lies. And he's trying to find the truth behind things, and he's finding it. They uncovered his CV, Azui Sensei's, and it's piecing it together what he was doing from 23 up to the time he connected with the energy, and things are making sense. Like, oh, we just think he went on a mountain and boom, here he is, he's starting, right? And not realizing all the work that came prior to that,
Right.
So yeah, so be very mindful and careful. You can connect with somebody amazing. The manual maybe okay, but go out and do your research and stay relevant too. Stay relevant.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what books do you recommend?
Ooh, there are some books by Penelope Quest
Mm.
that I quite like. The Reiki Manual, Self-Healing with Reiki. And I did my medical Reiki training under Raven Keys. And so what brought me into that was her book, Medical Reiki. And I found that quite fascinating. And I'm really into animal Reiki. So when I did some searching, I found Kathleen Prasad. And she has written a number of books, and she is a wealth of knowledge on the subject. So she's dedicated her life to it. So she's got a lot of information to offer. So those are kind of the main ones.
Yeah, and I've been blessed. She's been on Ready Set Reiki as well. So
amazing.
Yes, I'm trained also in animal Reiki, the ICRT and animal Reiki.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
And one of my articles was here in El Paso. There was a dog that was left at the border because you can't bring dogs as you come over. Yes. And my friend adopted this dog, and I gave her the attunement, the placement of the energy. So little Luna jumps on the table and puts her little paws.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Session. So Luna loves. So it's called Luna's Purpose. So yeah, from the border to giving Reiki.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So
that's beautiful.
So beautiful. So what other services, modalities do you offer?
So I'm a meditation teacher. I do in person as well as online when it's requested. And healing touch practitioner apprentice, which is, if you're not familiar with healing touch, it's similar to Reiki. Animal Reiki practitioner teacher through Kathleen Prasad's Let Animal Lead method. I teach Reiki for humans and animals. I run workshops to exercise creativity, making beaded bracelets, necklaces, focus beads, and it's always a very mindful workshop, which is really lovely. I may be offering or co-facilitating workshops on neurographic art in the near future, and that is a fun one. I also, I do a few things. I also do equine assisted learning. I'm a facilitator for that, and I am in my training for equine facilitated wellness. So lots of good things.
Yeah. And going back to things to find in a practitioner, you're constantly evolving, growing, learning. So that's another green flag, because we're working on ourselves, right? We're building that energetic toolbox.
Yes.
So, and then, the photography with the animals, that's just absolutely beautiful. I mean, you figure even doing family photo shoots, right? To bring Reiki in for infants. I mean, it's endless possibilities.
Yes.
To bring that in. So I was interviewing someone yesterday, and she was combining hairdressing in her salon with Reiki. So that's the new thing kind of coming here. But you figure photography, and this just shows you that you can merge it with anything. I do yoga, and here we are with photography. And what a beautiful thing to come up on the animal, not to frighten them, to send them Reiki with permission, right?
Always. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So beautiful. So where can we find you? Are you online? Are you in person? If someone's interested in a session or service from you?
I am online and in person. So if anybody out there is in Calgary or Calgary area, I do in-person sessions, and I can actually go to people's homes as well, because I have my table and will travel. But I work out of 2 different studios as well.
Beautiful.
All of that can be found on my website, which is goodspiritwellness.ca. I'm also on Instagram, and that's goodspirit_wellness. Somebody else stole it the other way, I guess. And on Facebook is Good Spirit Wellness.
Okay.
And I do distance work as well. So of course, nobody has to be right beside me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, keep waiting for that name to pop up. So when I started, I had feather sister, right? But someone had
Mhm.
feather sister, so I had to put the feather sister. And I would
Oh,
get a letter in the mail, maybe once a year saying, hey, we'll sell you it for $10,000 for feather sister. And one day I got an email and said it's available. And
oh,
I was
wow.
during some kind of sale or whatever, but I got the name. But of course, by then I already was the feather sister, the feather sister. So I thought, well, I better grab this. So I own the feather sister, feather sister.
Amazing.
So yeah, you never know. You never know. So might pop up when you least expect it. Well,
Right.
that is our last question for this part of our journey. And I'm going to guide you into the second part, which are questions from social media and from Reiki students. So here we go. Number one, how
Okay.
do you integrate your Reiki practice or Reiki into your photography?
Okay, that's a great question. So thank you to whomever asked it. I frequently photograph wild animals, as you know, wild horses mostly, but also wolf dogs at a local wolf dog sanctuary. And both of these species can have difficulties with humans for some obvious reasons and some not so obvious reasons. And I find that using self Reiki, first of all, to take me into a situation, um, it calms things right down. It calms things. These animals, these intuitive, beautiful animals know I'm not there to do any harm at all. So starting with self Reiki is amazing. Then when I go into the area, say the sanctuary, if I'm walking through, I offer Reiki. I always ask permission, of course, like we were talking about. And then I offer Reiki to these animals. And if they accept it, I get some of the best shots. I get fantastic facial expressions. And I get these fantastic poses. It's like they're giving this to me as a gift. And in the areas where the wild horses roam, I again go out there with self Reiki, and these animals are not those that love humans in some of the spots. A lot of them are used to photographers, though, so they'll come trotting up to you. But in the really far into the backcountry, I work with my energy very, very closely. And I can tell you one experience that was absolutely beautiful. I had driven way into the backcountry and I was up on this ridge, and there was if you look down the hill, there was a herd of horses down the hill, and I got some beautiful photos there. But there was a band of 3 horses about maybe 50 feet from me. And I thought, okay, calm, energy, center, ground. I need them to know I'm not going to harm them. And I offered the Reiki to them. They came up to me. One of them came so close, I put my hand out because I thought, ooh, and wild animals and humans don't mix. He touched my hand and he blew out his air on my hand. And then he just kind of took a step back. And it was this moment. I think I had tears in my eyes, and I was just thanking him and thanking him and thanking him. And then they moved off a little bit, got some beautiful pictures of them. So that's with animals. But I also, with wild animals anyways, I also work with domesticated animals. And these guys are some that have been abused or that have had bad experiences with humans. So energy is so important. My mom, I'll tell you, she loves what I do, but she saw me interacting with an animal one day and she said, "Do you realize that animal never took their eyes off of you?" And I said, well, I saw it looking, a couple of times because I was watching as well. But then I'd close my eyes, and she said it just, you could see the body just kind of melt. They were just so okay with being there. Gosh, yeah, it's when I work with human clients, same thing. I offer that. And some people kind of look at me and go, no, which is okay. And some people, the difference is palpable when you see that change. It's really beautiful when people are kind of, okay, I'm going to sit like this. And then you work with a little bit of energy, and it's so calming. It's so beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
Are your photos on display anywhere where people can check them out?
Yeah, so I have a website for that too. It's Good Spirit Photography.
Beautiful.
Yes, Good Spirit is kind of my thing.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, how has your experience working in emergency services helped support your Reiki clients?
That's huge. So having been around people who have had very traumatic situations, unprocessed trauma, going through the worst days of their lives. We never heard from people when they were having good days. So, just having these people who constantly had, it was a constant call after call after call of bad. So in order to understand that, you have to start kind of leaning in a little bit. And when you lean in, you learn more. So with my clients, yeah, also a huge skill to have is listening.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to listen.
Listen and be there. Just hold space, right?
Exactly. So when I'm working with clients, Reiki clients, they are all that is there. All I am is a sounding board. I'm just there to hear what they have to say, to provide them a safe space to let go of whatever they need to let go of. And I am very, very clear. I should say, I'm not a counselor. So
Yeah.
I am quite clear that if there is something coming up,
Mm-hmm.
I will suggest counseling if they're not already involved in it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Listeners, that's important. We never diagnose, right? We never know. And if it's something that's out of the realm of our expertise, talk to your doctor, right? Yes. Seek medical attention, things like that. So
yes. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I just want to provide a comfortable, safe space for people. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for that. Number 3, in your experience with emergency care and encountering challenging and emotional situations, do you have a technique that helps you calm down during stressful times?
Wow. So a big one for me is breath, just breath work. It is so important. We really tend to breathe in our upper chest. It's always that kind of just that upper chest. Being able to exhale everything, being able to inhale everything as much as we possibly can. That's where the calming is. That's where that comes that comes in handy, is just breathing. That is a huge one for me. I'm also really interested in just a lot of self-care. acupuncture, massage, going for a walk. It's not anything that has to cost anybody money. Going for a walk, hugging a tree. I know it sounds so so silly.
Lots of wisdom in a tree, though.
There is so much. And yeah, you just go and hug a tree. Just enjoy being in nature. That is huge. Also, I'm a huge proponent of counseling and therapy. So, those are, I think, the main things. I'm grateful that when I did my meditation teacher training, it was a 300-hour course. And we went through and learned so many different types of meditation.
Yeah.
And so I'm very grateful that I have that to fall back on as well.
Absolutely. Because then you'll just find your right one. Because some of them, it might not feel so good, and know that there's more. There's
yes
there. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, that was your last question. And as we've been talking, is there anything else you'd like to share or anything that you forgot about? The floor is yours.
Oh gosh. Wow. This has been absolutely incredible. I think that just, if people out there are curious about it, if they are wanting to experience a Reiki session, but are a little, I don't know, skeptical about it, it's okay. You know what? Reiki is not ever, it cannot ever hurt you. So try it. If it's something you're interested in training in, try it. Again, there's no harm. This is just another one of those things that you can use to better yourself. So yeah, just jump in there. And that's about it.
Reiki respects free will too, right?
Yes, it does.
And tell our listeners again where they can get in contact with you.
Sure, of course. My website is www.goodspiritwellness.ca. And my Instagram is @goodspirit_wellness. And Facebook is @goodspiritwellness.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Andrea, for taking time out of your very busy schedule and joining me on this Ready, Set, Reiki journey. I really appreciate it. I love it. Photography, Reiki, all that you do. We do a lot of the same modalities, so I love that as well. All right, my beautiful listeners, if you'd like your question featured on Ready, Set, Reiki, reach out, www.readysetreiki.com, and check me out on social media. I'm Tracy Seawright, and this has been Ready, Set, Reiki.